Hello, this video is sponsored by BritBox, the premier streaming service for Britain's most beloved TV shows. I'm Lawrence and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to rainfall, specifically Midwestern rainfall. Because last night, for the first time since we moved into this house, we had our first major downpour, unless you count Valentine's Day when I slightly overdid it on the apple juice. And it resulted in a lot of water just sitting around our property. This almost breached the garage door. Thankfully, somebody had the foresight to stick in this partition, but the water did make it all the way in on that side and through, thankfully, to our drain. So it was never going to cause any major damage, but what about the rest of the house? We don't really live in a flood zone, but since this is the Midwest and we did have one of those really lengthy, heavy downpours last night, then it might be best to check at least the basement, if not other parts of the house. But the only place in the garden that the water really accumulated was in the most narrow and inconvenient of areas that I now have to walk through and get myself all wet. Thankfully, I'm wearing these winter boots, even though, I must say, it's not really felt like winter in Chicago this year. In fact, it's felt more like spring. The garden is still a bit soggy, in fact very soggy, so I'm not going to walk on that. These leaves need raking, but you know, there's been a lot going on, so I haven't had a chance to do that yet. So I've taken a look and the house does look dry, especially here on the ground floor. I did take a look upstairs just to make sure there was no water coming in through the windows or anything like that, and it seems fine. There was a little spot on the bathroom floor, but then I was tired this morning, so it's probably unconnected. But in houses in the northern United States, which is where I am right now, there is one other place that you really need to be concerned with when you get a heavy rainfall like this, and that's the basement. So join me as we go down there now. I think I'm going to take it room by room, so we're going to start here with the Pittsburgh potty, which you've seen before if you follow my channel. But if you don't follow my channel or you're not subscribed, do that now. But come with me into the toilet, or to the bathroom. We're not literally going to go into the toilet for obvious reasons. So far, I mean, at first glance, the rug down here looks dry, which is good. And it looks like down the side, you've got these things. So that's going to help keep out the water. I'm saying this as if I know anything about this. I've never had to deal with flood issues before, so I'm winging it. I'm just going to tell you that now. But as far as I can tell, ironically, the loo looks dry. So we're good in here. Let's check out some of the other rooms. Next door, as you saw recently, is the boiler room. Excuse me, I don't have any lighting set up for this. That's probably a good thing in the event that we do have flooding. On comes the light. Ooh, that's weird. Uh-oh, that doesn't look good. Just excuse the dirt. We haven't had a chance to really clean up in here, but this looks a bit different to how it was the other day. Oh, that's wet. We've been having water come through here. No, the walls are dry. It's just at the bottom, and we're going to have to take care of that. Like I said, I'm no expert, but I think we're going to have to get that sealed up in some way, because like I said, this is the Midwest. In the Midwest, when it rains, it really rains, right? You have these heavy pours that can sometimes last for 5 minutes or sometimes last for 5 hours. And when they last for 5 hours, that's when we've got to be a little bit concerned with this. I think the important thing is to also check what's outside of the building. You know, where is this water coming in? Is there something I could be doing differently to stop this from happening? And this is the bit above the boiler room with a lot of soggy soil. Obviously it's penetrating deep into that soil and coming out into the room. Now, I might not have all of the answers as to how my Midwestern home works, but a big part of me really loves to do the detective work. And I know what you're thinking. Ooh, Lawrence, that's because you grew up with Britain's world-renowned detective shows. Well, thanks to BritBox, so can you. The latest show to land on the streaming service is Beyond Paradise, a brand new spin-off to the acclaimed series Death in Paradise. Fans of the latter, which sees a fish-out-of-water detective solve murder mysteries on the Caribbean island of Sainte Marie, will love Beyond Paradise. It follows two previously established characters, D.I. Humphrey Goodman and his fiancée Martha, as they return from the Caribbean to enjoy a quiet life in Martha's hometown in Devon, an English county that I've been to many times. However, just like the time that I was banned from going in the water at Torquay because somebody saw a basking shark, they quickly realise all is not as serene as it seems. And you can start streaming this as well as your other favourite British shows via your smartphone, tablet, desktop, Chromecast, Apple TV or Roku device, as well as LG and Samsung smart TVs. Head to BritBox.com/LostInThePond and use the promo code LostInThePond when signing up for a monthly subscription, and you'll get 50% of your first month. The link is also in my description below. So I just did something a little rash and I pulled out this drawer unit that the previous occupants left us because I saw this sort of puddle of water. Now it's quite random and isolated, but it has to have come from somewhere. If you look up here, it's not dripping from the ceiling. It could be from the washing machine, but we haven't used that in a day or two. But part of me thinks that it could be that there was a leak and I'm only just now discovering it. And the trail of that leak has since dried up en route to trying to reach the drain down there. So I'm going to check behind this unit now and see if we've got any evidence of, flooding. So let's see. That is disgusting. Whatever. I hope that's not human feces or any feces. We're going to look in here. It's brown, it's mucky, but someone's got to do it. I can't get through. I knew I should have lost more weight. Oh. I don't know if it's a good or bad sign that there are spider webs, but let's have a touch. Oh, it's wet as well. It just smells like soil, mud. This is absolutely disgusting down here. It looks like they probably experienced this problem, many times before I even moved in, and now we're going to have to take care of it. So over here is the drain pipe where the water would have come down and soaked into the soil behind that chest of drawers that we saw down there just a moment ago. And I see that the previous occupants put down these green boards to try to get the water to move away from that area, but it looks like they're not working. So I think once I've scraped out all of these leaves, I might have to do a job myself. So again, I'm sure it'll need some sort of sealant, or maybe we need to hire a professional. But what I do know is this needs cleaning up, and this thing just needs chucking, because I never liked it anyway. So on the one hand, it's not like it's the Poseidon adventure in here, but a little bit of water is a little disconcerting. So I think that, I am going to take action. I think not legal action, although maybe I could do that. When I posted about the potential for flooding on Twitter, some of my followers asked me if I have a sump pump. And this is a term that I only became familiar with about 2 or 3 months ago when I was first buying the house, and we had to tell the insurance people whether or not in fact we did have a sump pump. And the agent told us at the time that we do in fact have a sump pump. But I've never seen it until today. The sump pump is down here. I think that's the sump pump. Somebody tell me if that's not the sump pump, but I think it is, because it's got like a pipe that goes outside there. There's got to be some plumbing experts that know the answer to this, but in my head that is the sump pump, and I'm glad because I like saying sump pump, as you can probably tell. I'll stop now. Remember a few weeks ago when I said this? Hello, remember a few weeks ago when I said this? There were in fact a couple of rooms that I never showed you, and one of them is here in this door behind me. Well, the other is inside this very room. Well, I lied. There is technically still one room you haven't seen, and it's not down in the basement, it's not on the ground level, it's not even on this level, it's up there. The loft, or the attic, is up there. And this is my wife's studio. So I'm gonna have to climb this ladder in order to get up there. The thing is, have you ever been to an amusement park and partaken in one of those things where they ask you to put your hand in a hole, but you don't know what's behind it, and it's kind of unsettling? That's how I feel about this, because when you walk in here, there's just this vague smell, and I don't know what it is, and I don't really want to know what it is, but I'm gonna have to find out. And that's what's happening right here, right now. I don't like ladders at the best of times. Like I said, I either feel like Fireman Sam or Jeff Hardy. There really is no in between. So I'm right at the attic now. I don't hear anything, so there's no animals, or at least they're not alive. But what am I gonna see up here? Also, how big's it gonna be? Maybe we've got this fortress that I didn't know about that I can do things in. Anyway, let's go in there. I don't like it. Well, that's deep. That is deep. So because it's quite dusty up there and there's all this insulation, I'm going to put on a mask so that I don't get unwell. So it's all just this insulation stuff, so we're not going to put a pool table up here anytime soon. But looking at the roofing, it looks dry. I'm not seeing anything that's dripping. Yeah, I mean, it just looks like our garage, but on top of our house without squirrels. If this were a horror film, I think my arm would get ripped off right about now, but it's not. It's real life. Ugh. All right. We're all closed in. So mostly we're fine. My house has not, in fact, been lost in the pond. But the same cannot be said of some of the memos pertaining to houses. So when you're done with this video, make sure you watch my other offering regarding house objects that I only encountered after moving to America. I'm Lawrence Brown. You can follow me on Twitter at LostInThePondUS, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that I don't have to. In case you were wondering, here is that video in question. And just know that before you begin your binge, all of this was made possible by my patrons. If you would like to become a patron of Lost in the Pond, you can do so today at patreon.com/lostinthepond. Until the next video, goodbye.